Hello, sir. I'm Mithil Kamani.
And I'm Srishti Kalra.
Here in this video, we will explain the results and the observation that we have got after simulating the heat diffusion process. Uh, Next slide. So in this lab, we have modeled the heat diffusion through a thin metal bar, and we have also applied a constant heat and cold at different locations on the bar. Now we have applied this heat and cold through the thickness of the bar, and we have assumed that that each internal point on the line perpendicular to the top surface of the bar has the same temperature. Also, we have assumed that the bar is in a steel room and that the immediate surroundings are at the same temperature as the bar. Though in the later phases of this simulation, we have considered different conditions on the surrounding to analyze this problem further. Next slide. Now, we have considered a grid structure to analyze this problem. Now, Newton's law states that the rate of change of temperature with respect to time of any object is proportional to the difference between the temperature of the object and the temperature of its surroundings. Now, in a grid structure, if you want to calculate the temperature of any site or cell, we also consider the temperature of its neighboring cells. Now, there are two kind of neighborhood. One is von Neumann neighborhood and the second is Moore neighborhood. In von Neumann neighborhood, we only consider the cells that are on the east, north, west, or south to the site. And in the Moore neighborhood, we consider the cells that are on the east, north, west, and the south of the site, and also the cells that are on the diagonal sides of the site. Next slide. uh, Here is the diffusion equation. So this diffusion equation is used to calculate the temperature of any site at at a particular time. There are two types of diffusion. One is non-weighted diffusion and the second is weighted diffusion. In non-weighted diffusion, all the neighboring cells contribute equally in determining the temperature of the site. Uh, in here, in this simulation, we have taken R as 0.06. Now, the second kind of diffusion is weighted diffusion. Next slide. We have also considered some scenarios of weighted diffusion. So, in the case of weighted diffusion, all the neighboring cells do not contribute equally in determining the temperature of center cell. As given in the graph, the cells that are in the horizontal and vertical direction, they contribute 12.5% in determining the temperature of the center cell, and the cells that are on the diagonal, they contribute 6.25% in determining the temperature of the site. Next slide.
Now we have run the simulation for different values. Here we have assumed our hot site to be at, we have assumed the hot site and cold sites to be from x is equal to 20 to x is equal to 30. And the hot site is located at y is equal to 0, while the cold site is located at y is equal to 50. So here we have got these simulation results. Now, in the weighted case, we have obtained the equilibrium time as 103 units. This is because in the weighted case, the horizontal and vertical blocks contribute 12.5% to in calculating the temperature of the central block, while in the non-weighted case, that contribution is just 0.06, that is 6%. So in the so the value is higher for the weighted case as opposed to the non-weighted case. That is why we got an equilibrium time of 103 units in the weighted as opposed to an equilibrium time of 112 units in the non-weighted case. Further, we have added some more uh, variations to this. Now, what we do is we the hot sites and cold sites are on for 10 time unit steps initially, and then they are turned off. And now we try to find at what time will the equilibrium be reached. So here we see that we reach an equilibrium of 63 units in the weighted case as opposed to 68 units in the non-weighted case. And on the very same basis as we explained the previous one, we can explain this one as well. That in the weighted equilibrium, the contribution is more as compared to the non-weighted equilibrium. Also, from the simulations, we can see that the dark red and the dark blue spots disappear after t is equal to 10 time units. Now we try to analyze various boundary conditions. Now, in the absorbing boundary conditions, what happens is the atmospheric temperature is not affected by the temperature of the block. Let's say the block is kept in the open for some time, say in open air. So here the temperature of the atmosphere will not be affected, um, whatever be the temperature of the block. Next is the reflective boundary condition. Here we can say that the block is kept somewhere in a closed environment. That is, the temperature of the block will affect the temperature of the atmosphere. Now, for the periodic one, uh, we can just assume that this brick is put one after the other up till infinity. So we obtain a periodic boundary condition. And from all of these, we can clearly see that we have a maximum intensity of this neon color in the reflective boundary case, followed by periodic and then absorbent. Now we have got another variation, that is, we have a block at 100 degrees Celsius. The block is uniformly heated to 100 degrees Celsius, and now we have a constant application of 25 degrees Celsius external source on its boundary. So here what happens is the block is at a higher temperature, it has more energy. So the energy flows from the block to the atmosphere, and that is why we see a decrease in temperature of the block. Uh, we can see this from the GIF as well. That is, the temperature goes towards the lower gradient. And if we compare the temperature at different points within this block, we see that the temperature at the boundary point, that is here 1 comma 1, this line, here the temperature varies a lot as compared to the point in between. And if we go further deep into the block, we see that the temperature variation is more less. This happens because the external temperature of 25 degrees Celsius is at its boundaries, and we see a more larger and we see a greater temperature difference at the boundary. That is why we see such a pattern. Now, on the very same note, we have got another example here. The bar is at minus 50 degrees Celsius initially, and then we have applied a constant temperature of 25 degrees on its boundary. Again, we see a similar result, that the temperature starts flowing from the boundaries up till the middle. Again, then we see that the temperature variation is maximum at the boundary point as opposed to the inner point. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.